What's up, everyone? This week on the pod, we are talking lots of hardcore, so stay tuned for that. Please support the podcast by subscribing to it wherever you listen to it. Also, share it on social media. Tell your friends. You know what to do. You can go to the website 185milessouth.com. All our links are up there, as well as there is a playlist for every episode, so you can listen to the music that we are talking about. Also, while you're there, smash that Patreon button. The Patreons are the people that keep this podcast alive, and I love all of them. Let's get on with the pod.
"185 Miles South," a hardcore punk rock podcast.
Introducing first, the challenger, fighting out of the hard corner. Coming off 2 back-to-back losses to Alcatraz, this warrior stands unbroken and vows tonight will be his night of redemption. From Chula Vista, California, it's Rob Swamp Thing Moran! And his opponent, fighting out of the core corner. From parts unknown, weight unknown, reason he didn't pick Minor Threat in the Straight Edge Super 7, unknown. It is the reigning, defending, undisputed 185 Miles South Trivia Champion of the world, Daniel, these questions are too easy, Sant!
All right, first question goes to Rob Moran. Rob,
what? A booing already? Is the digital peanut gallery?
The champ is throwing the thumb in the eye out the gate.
Oh my God, a rake of the eyes already.
I'm the Mr. Fuji throwing salt in your eyes.
Rob, what is the first non-7-inch release on Discord Records?
The first non-7-inch. Oh, Jesus.
The first LP.
Well, oh God. gotta be Minor Threat, right?
We go to Daniel for the possible steal. Dan, what is the first non-7-inch release on Discord Records?
The thing that came to my mind is one of two things. It could either be the 4 first 7 inches put together on that 12-inch, or Flex Your Head. And I am gonna go with the 4 7-inch comp.
No points this round. It is a Flex Your Head compilation.
Oh my God! I'm gonna jump out.
Oh, hey Ronnie. All right,
well, Dan. Here's one that'll make you feel good. Okay, on the Token Entry album Jaybird, what bird is depicted on the front cover? What genus does it belong to? And what are the 2 subspecies of this bird?
Okay, it's a vulture. And the genus is Vulturus cananus. I don't know.
A dog vulture?
Yep.
Oh, it's a bald eagle. And it's a bald eagle, and the genus is, let's see, Heliatetus. H.I. Leocophophalis is the one that's found in California and Baja. And H.I. washingtoniensis is found in the Pacific Northwest, Canada, and Alaska. How about that?
Would that bald eagle be actually found in Washington? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, believe it or not.
It's found in Washington on my flag.
Okay. Daniel, here's your first real question. Prior to starting the Wipers, Greg Sage played in this band fronted by a Portland pro wrestler.
I'm trying to think of any bands that had wrestlers. Cactus Jack and the Whack Attack.
Noble effort, but we go to Rob for the potential steal. Rob, prior to starting the Vipers, Greg Sage played in this band fronted by a Portland pro wrestler.
Oh, geez. I have no idea. I don't know. The Whippers?
Beauregard. Yeah.
What?
Beauregard. Beaur.
Oh, Beauregard?
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I think that's bogus regard.
Yeah.
It got re-released recently, and so I thought that was in the. I don't know. I thought you would know that. My bad, Daniel. You're a big white person.
Again, the submarine is under the water shooting those torpedoes this way.
Actually, I think we're all tied up. Okay.
Yeah, it's all 0-0.
That's right.
0.0.
Here we go. All right, Rob, with round number 2. In the song Stabbed in the Back by Youth of Today, singer Ray Cappo recalls all the shit you said. He guesses that it was all just a bunch of what?
Fuck, I don't fucking know. It's all a bunch of lies.
Point to Rob.
There we go.
Yep.
Oh.
Lies/fucking lies. Either one we would have taken.
There you go.
Okay, Daniel, we go to you for your second question. The first Descendants LP is titled Milo Goes to College. What college did Milo leave the Descendants to attend?
Put that phone down.
I don't know. It's science. Something science. I just don't know. I watched Film Age not that long ago as well. Well, I'm just going to take a random guess and say Harvard.
We go to Rob for potential steal.
I'm going to say, because I recall there being a lot of all stuff going on and Descendant stuff going on in San Diego at the time, so I'm going to say UCSD.
Point to Rob.
Yes.
This is malarkey and hokum.
I'm just old enough to remember when he was supposed. I never saw him at UCSD, but I remember hearing the myth that Milo was at UCSD.
They should have called the LP Milo Goes to the Che Cafe.
He probably did.
Dan, how do you get upset over a steal? It means that the question was answerable.
Yeah, but to me, Milo goes to the Porter's Pub.
Milo goes to science camp. So.
Yeah.
Okay, we go to Rob for his question number 3. Rob, true or false? The person on the cover of the Black Spot, Check Out the Helmet 7-inch that came out on Workshed Records in 1992, has a goatee.
True. Wasn't it Greg Brown on the cover?
We go to Daniel for the potential steal. Daniel, true or false? The person on the cover of the Black Spot, Check Out the Helmet 7-inch that came out on Workshed Records in 1992, has a goatee.
I'm going to say no, he doesn't, but he was the only person in 1992 that didn't have a goatee.
Daniel. Now, I don't think I did either, but it was only because I was just starting to go through puberty. How about that?
I thought it was cubes. Isn't that Marlon Brando from Apocalypse Now?
We talked about this when we wrote the question, Ben, way back. Didn't we?
Did we? I don't know. I'm senile.
Because it really does look like Marlon Brando in Apocalypse Now, right? But it's not. It's like
does Marlon Brando tell Martin Sheen, "Hey, check out the helmet"?
I believe he does.
The horror
in the director's cut.
Yeah. Funny you should ask. Okay, Dan, we go to you for your question number 3. In the Floor Punch song "Let It Ride," where are they going on Saturday night?
AC.
Point to the champ. Okay, and we go back to Rob for round number 4. Rob, true or false? On the no for an answer, You Laugh 7-inch, The people depicted on both the front and back cover have X's on their hands.
Ooh, on the front and back. I know for sure the front has an X on the hand. I have no recollection of the back cover, so I'm going to say they were super straight edge at the time, so I'm going to say yes on the back. But I know for a fact the front has an X.
We go to Daniel for the potential steal. Daniel, true or false? On the no for an answer, you laugh 7-inch. The people depicted on both the front and back cover have X's on their hands.
I'm going to say no, and that is shameful of no for an answer. They should have X'd up people on both sides of the record.
Yeah, we should have done this as like a half-point question because, Rob, you got it right. That on the front cover, yes, there is. And on the back cover, Dana Mahoney is not X'd up.
Oh, when will it end?
Okay.
Okay, Dan, we go to you for your question number 4. What is New Age Records number 1?
Oh, I know that one.
Oh, God. Well, it's not. Number 1 is.
You knew this was coming after getting the Nemesis number 1 question.
No, I didn't. But I'm going to start researching all record label number 1s from now on. Because I'm getting. Oh God, you guys are just. I'm just going to guess and say it's one of the old things up front.
We go to Rob for the potential steal. Rob, what
Walk
is
Proud.
Oh, there it is.
Of course.
Walk Proud, Be Yourself 7-inch. But the real winner is listeners of the podcast because now we know that Dan is not Googling the answers.
True.
So, okay, Rob, we go to you for question number 5. What kind of justice does Sick of It All discuss on the 4th track of their 1987 7-inch on Revelation Records?
Street Justice?
We go to Daniel for the potential steal. Dan, what kind of justice?
Wrong band.
Dan, what kind of justice does Sick of It All discuss on the 4th track of their 1987 7-inch on Revelation Records?
It's either there's either Blind Justice or Rat Pack, or the Injustice System. God, Blind Justice.
It's actually Bullshit Justice.
Yep.
Hard one. My bad. Yeah. Okay, we go to Dan for his question number 5. Now, Dan, the pre-song sample at the beginning of Madball's Set It Off is A, 30 seconds, B, 40 seconds, C, 50 seconds, or D, 60 seconds.
It's either 50 or 60.
What color is the mohawk on Bug Bites?
Well, it's either 50 or 60 because it's long as fuck. And are we including... We don't fake it, we just take it. I'm going 50 seconds.
Point to the champ.
Yes!
How about that?
Narrowly avoiding the blue mohawk situation.
I know. Totally. Okay, Rob, true or false? The 1st Battalion of Saint 7-inch, Fighting Boys, predates Ric Flair's victory over Harley Race at the first Starrcade.
Oh my God. Well,
I know when the Starrcade is.
Well, I'm trying to think, wasn't Fighting Boys a 12-inch as well? With Mad Mark Rude cover?
Fighting Boys 12-inch.
Oh, 12-inch. You said 7-inch.
Oh, my bad. I'm an idiot. We need a host, people.
Oh, okay. Look at Rob coming through.
I know. Half a point for the correction.
Shit. I'm going to say yes, it predates it.
Point to Rob. Fighting Boys 12-inch, 1982.
Starrcade 83.
Yep, November 24th, 1983.
I just watched that Ric Flair like getting his robe back episode where they talk about Starcade and the special robe for that.
Yeah, because I remember the Starcade. I thought it was going to be 84, 85 was that Starcade, but I knew that Fighting Boys 12-inch was like 82, 83, something like that. So, all right, anyway, there we go. So does that mean I get a point and a half? Do I get a point and a half?
You should.
In your dreams, punk.
Well, circling back to question number 5, it's bullshit justice. You should have gotten 1.5, but you're just getting 1. And Ben,
1.5.
Motherfucker.
See, that's the whole reason. I was trying to tie in the 1.5 blog.
Booyah.
All right, Dan, question number 6. What? Okay. Okay, this is worded whack. Okay.
Oh, God.
No. You got this. What is the name of the guy in the NoFX song who spent 16 years getting loaded until his liver exploded?
Bob.
Point to the champ. I wrote it with who instead of what.
Well,
I knew you were a sellout, Daniel.
Hey, he spent 15 years getting loaded, 15 years till his liver exploded. Now, what is Bob gonna do now that he can't drink?
Bob went edge, dude. But Dan, we got to take a half point off because you just sang it with 15 years and it's 16 years.
Oh, well.
Ooh.
Then
Rob,
my edge is secure.
Okay, I take the blame on all the questions up until this. This is a Ben question, so Rob, get mad at him. Okay. Who played guitar on the 1984 7 Seconds album, The Crew?
Was it Posniak?
Point to Rob, and no anger directed toward Bedge. How about that?
No anger because it's Rob's favorite band ever.
It's a great question.
Yeah.
You know his first name?
Dan?
You got it.
Bam.
Yeah.
Should have gotten 2 points, but bullshit justice. Okay, Dan.
I know. Fucking Street Justice. As soon as I said it, I was like, oh, fuck, wrong band.
Yeah. I know. Well, it's a hard one in hardcore, right? Because there's Street Justice, there's Blind Justice, bullshit justice, like whatever. There's Justice, one of the great modern.
There's a lot of justice going on.
That's what's up. Okay, Dan, we're going to wrap it up. You're number 7. The Dead Kennedys LP Frankenchrist featured members of this club on the cover, riding in miniature cars.
The Shriners Club.
Point to the champ.
Yeah.
And Bedge, we got to go to you for the final tally.
All right. Rob has 5 points, and the reigning champion, Dan Sant, has 6 points. Dan remains the champion.
Does that mean I now own Heartwork Coffee Bar? Weren't we putting up pink slips for businesses?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, you guys really sold me on that to make it sound just as awkward as shit joke as it was.
No, Dan,
that was the point.
Dan, you just remain undefeated. You're still the champ. How about that?
I know.
I love it.
All right.
Even though my 1.5 was taken away.
Oh.
Shit, just this.
And you should have lost some points, but we'll leave it at that.
You know Dan Posniak's name. You should have won this.
True. What's up, everyone? This week on the pod, we are talking hardcore, helping out. You know him, you love him. He is the best dressed man on the pod. It's Daniel Sant. What's up, Dan?
Hello, listeners. Welcome to my sartorial experience.
Okay. Also helping out, it is the mighty Posi Chris. What's up, Chris?
Hey, welcome to Dan's sartorial experience.
That is right. Dude, what does that mean, man?
Sartorial is like talking about fashion and stuff.
Ah, how about that? We're here to learn, people. So what's up? All right, Chris, you wanted to kind of just do a State of the Union, what's going on and what we're excited about and so forth. So what's going on, dude?
I mean, what's going on with me or just what's going on in general? I think
hardcore, dude. We're all hardcore all the time.
Yeah, I think so. I haven't been to any shows yet. I kind of made a personal decision. I didn't want to attend any until after the summer, just to, make sure extra. Yeah, it was just a personal decision for me, But that said, I've been tracking all these shows super closely. Watching the YouTubes, like cheering on friends that are, getting back at it. And, I don't know. I think it'd be cool to just kind of talk a little bit about some of those, I think the first one I'll bring up is, when shows first started coming back, it seemed like that first wave, the shows were so massive that they weren't even like hardcore shows. They were kind of like circus side shows or like spectacles, which is awesome. But like, it's also kind of cool to see. So like Scal and Zulu just did that, that week or so around the Southwest, which I thought was really cool because, there've been a few shows in California popping off, and, here's these two bands from California that are like, hey, we want to take this to some places where, people are really starving for this, and we just want to go there and do it. And it's been cool to kind of follow those two bands as they go through like Arizona and Utah and Colorado, New Mexico. And the shows look like a blast. One of the Denver show, FOM played. And the singer Kat's a good friend of mine, lives in Tacoma. But they're a Denver based band. So, she flew down for that show like the day of, and I was kind of watching this on social as it was happening, but her flight got delayed. And this was, their record release show, like their first show back from COVID. And she didn't even know if she was gonna be able to make it in time because her flight got delayed. So like, it was kind of fun and scary, like following her on Instagram, just like updates. Okay, I'm on a different plane now, and ETA is like 8:30. I hope I make it. It was just kind of like one of those fun things where like you just put yourself in her shoes and like feel for her and really root for her and like, her band, that they're able to do this thing that they've been looking forward to doing for, over a year and a half. So she was able to make it, and like, it was really cool to see like all the videos of their set from that show, and just like, put myself in her shoes as like, we've all been there where we have a show and something traumatic happens before the show, or like van problems, or like, just something happens and you overcome all this adversity to get to the show, and you get there and it's just like perfect. And like, I don't know. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, super cool. And also just super rad to be, the first couple of bands to go hit the road, because you're right. The first shows back have been awesome, like huge spectacles, but it comes down to the bands that are taking it out to the people, right? And it's sick for them to get out there like that. And it's a nice little Southwest run. Doing this podcast and talking to all the Nardcore bands, is interesting because they used to kind of always do that route. And I never did with my bands. It's always, I felt like in our era, it was like you do the West Coast, right? Mm-hmm. And then Texas was so good that we went out there once just to like do Texas, because it's like, well, it's just as close as going to Seattle, and there's 3 good shows waiting for us there. We're like, Seattle was good before, and then Portland like never really had the hardcore thing going, at least in our lane. And then it's a long ways from Portland to the Bay.
Yeah, for sure.
So going to do Texas was ill, but yeah, that little Southwest route was like a big thing in the 80s. And so I got kind of nostalgic seeing that route from them. Super ill.
What about the white fragility on the Zulu t-shirt post?
No, so sick. I mean, not the fragility being sick, but like, it's sick that they did that, like it's, obviously this world and this hardcore scene still has some issues with, racism, whether systematic or, overt. And
Dan, bring us up to speed. The people who don't know.
Well, Zulu posted a really cool merch drop, and the back of their shirt say "Abolish White Hardcore." Now, it's a strong statement, and it's, who knows what the entire meaning is, but it's pretty straightforward. People couldn't handle it. It seems a lot of the people in the comments are, probably the equivalent of attempting to say something cool and getting sidetracked and coming off all lives matter-ish. Mm-hmm. Anyway, there was just a lot of like crybaby people that are like, not understanding. It's about smashing down like lots of stuff within the world we live in, as well as in the world we don't want to participate in, So I think it's a pretty strong, like, fuck yeah message. And I think the crybabies have a lot of growing to do and maybe put themselves in somebody else's shoes for once.
Yeah. I mean, it's nice to address that elephant in the room, right? And a lot of hardcore has always been like mostly white, mostly males, which is why it's so rad, like the current times of hardcore, that so many different people are involved, more so than any other time in the past, I think. I'm fortunate coming from a town like Oxnard where it is very multicultural, but if you look at like a lot of the popular bands throughout hardcore's history, it's been white male. So it's fun to see someone knock it down and trigger people, right? Like that's what it's all about. Like, fuck it. I don't know.
Not only that, but like some of the backlash that maybe not even backlash, but like the sensitivity and I don't know what the term is, the butthurtness. This would be the Webster terminology. I think like some of that just goes to show like, yeah, this is why these conversations are important. Like if you're offended, if you're a white person that is offended by a shirt that says abolish white hardcore, like you need to kind of take a step back and look at why you're offended by that and kind of the power structures in place that I guess put you in a situation where you're so secure in your bubble of, male, white, hetero reality.
Yeah. I mean, it's an abrasive shirt, but that's the point, right? Like a t-shirt slogan is not like the place for nuance, and I think that there's a lot of conversations to be had, but the problem with a lot of modern conversation is there isn't nuance, and we're talking with shirt slogans, right?
Sure, and on social posts,
right? And so I think that is cool. It's a conversation starter, but don't let it like start and end with a t-shirt, right? And people getting offended, especially the people that probably were offended by that, like a little shaking up of those people is healthy, I think.
Yeah, and also that's not to say that someone can come back with something valid to say, against it, but make sure you completely understand what the sentiment is first. Do you know what I mean? Not like, there can be a lot more conversations going on, which is great, but yeah, just crying on the internet or like, that's it, I'm not supporting you anymore. Fuck off.
Yeah, I mean, like, look, I'm a white dude that's in the greatest hardcore band on earth, so what's up? I'm not apologizing for it, but Zulu rips, dude. That last video they did was so ill, and like dude, all their output has been awesome. Yeah, all their output has been awesome. I love them. I'm rooting for them, so that's what's up with that. Yeah. I did go to. I saw the Dead Heat show. There was like the July 4th weekend, which was out of this world ill. All the bands killed. And Retaliate is playing our first show back September 18th at the OPAC. So everyone, I know what you're doing that night if you're not in the Pacific Northwest, because Chris, you're playing that weekend too, right?
Yeah, it's a good night for first shows back. We're playing September 18th in Tacoma, Washington at Just Another Gig, which is one of the guys from Rainfest is a series of shows that he's doing. And the idea is like, everyone's always saying, hey, bring back Rainfest. And his thing is, no, I'm just going to book awesome gigs. And that's what this is, just another gig, So.
That's so cool. How do you feel about like coming back and playing? Like, you worried you're going to eat your dick on stage or what?
Hell no, man.
You're just going to shred.
Oh yeah, man.
I love
ready.
it.
I'm so
I love
ready.
it. Yeah, I'm excited too. I can't wait. It is going to be weird having people spit in my face after like a couple years, but hey, you only live once, dude. YOLO. What's up, Dan?
No, that's why you've got to perfect that long arm mic time.
That's true.
Although if they spit on the mic and then you put it right to your mouth,
Yeah.
I'm gonna use one of those like clown noses on the microphone and pluck it off when I pass the mic, and then put it back on when I'm singing.
Yeah. I feel after going to Tsunami Drain Gulch, plus working, with the public for ages, and then I've recently been DJing in person again, but those have been in very extremely safe conditions. I feel, the majority of the people that we are going to be socializing with in these spaces are going to be like-minded and caring for others and making sure that they're taken care of as well. And I think the people that potentially are entering the space that don't feel like that, they're the ones who are inversely so much more at risk than any of, us. So everyone just be safe and, let's have fun. Like we can't stay inside for the rest of our lives.
Yeah. Before we came on the air, Chris, I think you asked me if I went to the Mindforce show last weekend. Mindforce played with Dead Heat up in, at the Chain Reaction.
In Ingrown and No Right.
That's right. In Ingrown, which we're going to talk about later. I did not go because I've been going to Mexico like almost every other weekend now, which has been so fun because I didn't go and like the whole time that I was, during COVID and before I got vaxxed. And so it's been fun to go. Plus I have friends there and I miss them dearly. And the border's still been closed for, people that have visas. So they're not able to visit here. So I go there, and it's been interesting seeing the difference between the way that people in Mexico and America are treating COVID. Like there, just everyone, when you go inside, you put a mask on, and I haven't seen one person complain, or act like crazy. It's just like, let's get on with our lives and let's do this thing, I
was going to say, because you probably aren't in the places where the American tourists are with like the American flag shorts who are.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Because like I'll go to a bar like that once and be like, there's too many Americans here. Like, and never go again, Mostly just because like I want to chill, and when you're around other people and you hear them talking, and it feels like every American down there talks extra loud, like it's impossible to tune them out, right? And my Spanish is like poor enough that when people are having like friend to friend conversations, to my simple brain, like it feels like they're speaking really fast, and so it's hard for me to understand what they're saying, which is nice because I can relax and not feel like I'm eavesdropping or anything, But anyway, that's why I didn't go to Mindforce, and I missed out because it's probably my favorite band, my favorite current band right now, But I want these tours to come to San Diego, and when things are opening up, they're going to hit the big metro areas. But I can't wait for things to just start rolling again and bands touring and coming through and this and that. And that's another show coming up that I'm looking forward to is Take Offense, Dead Heat, I think Section Hate, and a bunch of other bands are going to play.
Head Count.
Yeah, Head Count, yeah. September 17th in San Diego. So it'll be up on the 185 Instagram. You can find the information there.
So what you do is you go to that show, you enjoy it thoroughly, and then you hot tail it over to the Whistle Stop for fucking in the bushes.
That's right. And then the next morning you wake up early, you head to Oxnard and come see Retaliate. So what's up? But yeah, anything else you guys are super looking forward to coming down the pipe? Is it coming down the pipe or coming down the pike?
I think both work.
Okay, right on.
Why not?
Sorry,
I think
the pike is like a canal, and then the pipe is, Mario coming down the pipe.
Or Tony Hawk coming down the half pipe. A couple other ones. Do you guys see that clip that was floating around of Never Ending Game in Detroit? I don't think the full video is up yet, but Sonny from Hate 56 posted like a little 10-second snippet that looked wild.
That band kicks ass, dude. Like, they've put out like the 2 songs on the comps, which were they on both of them? The One Scene Unity and the America's Hardcore? Okay, so they were on both, and I was like, oh my god, they got the best song on both comps, and then they put out the single. It's like they can kind of do no wrong. Like, they're killing it. And yeah, I saw that video. It looked great. Looks like exactly how it should have looked, right?
Yeah, for sure. Another one that I was really psyched on, that looked like it was a lot of fun, was End It and Shackled went out and played a few shows in the southern mid, whatever, like Louisville and like that area is. But they played with Inclination, Louisville, and that show looked like a lot of fun as well.
Yeah, we love Inclination.
We love Inclination, and also I love End It.
Yeah,
like that stuff that they've put out so far is so good. It was some of my favorite stuff was that 2020 or was it this year?
It was last year.
Okay. I think it came out in like January 2020 then. And so it's kind of kind of wild. It got pushed out of the conversation a bit, but dude, it's so good. Like, okay, anyone that listens to this knows I love do da 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 do da da da. And they have that one song that starts out with the singer doing like the drum intonation with his mouth, and then it kicks in. And I heard that and I was like, okay, this is the greatest thing ever. And I'm so mad at myself for not thinking about it first,
Especially since you've been doing it for the last 15 years.
I know. I would like to think that I put the thought out into the spirit world. Maybe he grasped it.
He germinated your seed.
Maybe. Who knows? But yeah, that's so ill. I love that band. And I think Restraining Order played too. Another band that I love.
I don't think they played Louisville, but I think Restraining Order played with End It in Baltimore or somewhere around. I don't know. Anyways, all those shows are mixing up, and it's so sick to see like videos and kids having fun, and
2019 Record of the Year alumnus.
Yeah, dude. Hardcore rules, dude. So stoked it's back, and we're having fun going to shows. I can't wait for all these bands to roll through. You got to come to San Diego, so I don't have to go to Orange County or LA.
Well, don't forget, you're coming up north for Powerhouse.
That's right. I'm coming up north for Powerhouse, which I believe is in November.
Yeah, while I'm in
That's
England.
That's going to be a fun one.
Yeah, Dan is scared of the pit, so he's fleeing the country.
That's right. Who?
Scowl's on that one too, right? Scowl and Gulch?
Scowl's on one of the nights, Gulch is on one of the nights, Tsunami's on one of the nights. There's 2 nights in a row.
Yeah,
I think it's sick that Powerhouse is playing. I just think that lineup is sick. Like Powerhouse, obviously a band of dudes that recognize that like you can't just play with a bunch of other, vets and then have a bunch of vets come out and stand around and watch you. Like you gotta play with those youths and bring out the young kids to stage dive and go crazy and have fun. And I think it's a cool lineup. It looks like a blast.
Yeah, they did a great job with the lineup, and then also it's so ill that like the first night sold out, so they added a second night. It's like the weekend of Powerhouse, dude. So sick. Can't wait. I'm going the first night. Everyone come up and say hi to me if you remember. And super looking forward to it.
And don't trash me to Zach or anyone for not being there. I will be in the Motherland, and I will be seeing Suede and Jarvis Cocker.
and the girl from the swimming pool.
What swimming pool?
The girl that pooped on your head.
Oh, Judith Betts. No, I don't. Well, I might run into Betsy. You never know, but I will be. Hopefully catching maybe a punk or hardcore gig if there is one going while I'm there.
Hopefully you don't get roughed up by Chubby and the gang for calling him a poser.
No, that's especially since he's doing all that like Muay Thai shit on his like feed now. But I'm actually literally wearing a Chubby and the Gang t-shirt right now. So
I was going to say, hopefully you don't get roughed up by Bordy for outing him for.
I think Bordy is wanting the soapbox, and he wants to like continually pontificate on who he thinks is a poser and not. But you know what? I'm seriously looking forward to that Chubby and the Gang LP.
Hell yeah.
And they just played a wild kind of DIY-ish show in a park in London, it looked like.
Yeah. With the Chisel played too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looked like a lot of fun.
They share Chubby as the member, in both bands.
We're gonna talk that Chisel EP on an upcoming episode, but just real quick, dude, the second song on that 7-inch, good God.
It's awesome.
It's
the first one's awesome too, though.
It destroys the first one, though.
I agree.
The first one's cool. Like, it's cool. They get a little fancy on, what are they adding, like a piano or something on the chorus?
Yeah, but the second one lyrically.
The second one just all around is like, oh my God. Like, it could literally sit on like a Cox Bar record. It's.
Well, that's the thing. If you've got perfect harmonies, blah, 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 but then the lyrics are like fucking upper echelon, then it goes to GOAT level. Dude,
it's one of the greatest songs. Like, it's straight up a modern classic. So everyone check out that new Chisel.
And check out this podcast when we talk about about that record.
Maybe we don't have to talk about it, but we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, everyone check it out. Okay. Anything else you guys want to say before we wrap up this and go on to talking LPs?
One thing. Dan said he's looking forward to the next Chubby record, which I also am. But I'm also looking forward to my next Curry with Mark Boardman, whenever that'll be.
How about that?
I'll have to take multiple photos of Bordy eating curry so you can feel like you're virtually there. Or maybe we'll even WhatsApp you live.
Excellent. Just make sure you don't order a Pepsi in front of him.
I never would. I'd rather drink diarrhea than Pepsi.
We all know that Dan only eats spotted dick.
Hey, it's delicious with custard.
How do you do, fellow kids?
What?
How do you do, fellow kids?
What?
How do you do, fellow kids?
All right, we're going to talk 2 of the best new LPs that have come out really recently. First one I want to talk about is the Dare record. It is the Against All Odds LP. It came out, I believe, last week on Revelation Records. And Chris, what do you think about this?
I think this record is incredible. This is a band that's always been impressive live. In the recordings over the years, in my opinion, have gotten closer and closer to capturing that live energy. Like with each release, they get a little bit closer. But like for me, I think this is the record that finally says, all right, play this on your headphones. Like this is what we're about. This is the energy that we bring when we play live. And it's super cool to see them just like accomplish that, because it's hard to do in hardcore, like to have, particularly when you're a band that has a lot of energy live, it's hard to capture that energy in the studio. And I think this record totally does. Sounds awesome. Like the songs are banging. I think one of the things that really impressed me is this Angel, the singer's vocals sound so sick on this, like next level. I think they kind of remind me of like the way he phrases a little bit kind of reminds me of like Vitalo a little bit from Backtrack. And obviously like a little bit of a vocal style cadence as well. But like I was trying to put my finger on, there was something that reminded me of something, and I couldn't put my finger on it. And when I played the song Regret, the switch, the light bulb went on in my head that he kind of sounds like Bo from Snake Eyes at times and Donnybrook. And I think the reason why that song made it pop for me is because that song kind of reminds me a little bit of the IA song You're Dead, that Bo sings on. Yeah, I think this record is awesome. I think, I don't want to talk too much about Different Method because I don't want to steal Dan's thunder. But like, for me, that's the hit. But like, even so, if you took that song off of this record, I think this record is still very strong. And like any of the other songs could have just as easily been, the hit. But, yeah.
Yeah. It is hard to nail down the vocals. I love them. because they're so shredded, and it's like one of those things where, you know, it's brutal. Like, it's not like a pleasing to the ear thing to like common folk.
Yeah.
But it sounds so good.
It sounds
like,
gnarly.
Yeah, it sounds gnarly and shredded, but not all the way like West style. It's like it's got its own like flavor. It's so ill. I love this record. I think it's the best thing on Revelation since Past Our Means, which is saying a lot because there's been a lot of good stuff on Rev, right? The Down to Nothing, the In My Eyes, the Nerve Agents, all that. This thing is Drain. Oh, of course, the Drain. My bad. Daniel, slap me when you see me. This is so good and sounds so fresh, and it's just the lane that I want to win. You know, like if I could choose a sound that was the biggest thing in hardcore, it would be this, right? It's like high energy, but you don't know where it's going. It's not metal. It's not drop tuned. It's, you know, positive. Everything about it, I love. There's a dude in an Ill Repute shirt, like in every photo. Like, it's everything I want. And like,
I think
it flows too. Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, just to add to that, like wanting to see them win. Like, I don't know any of these dudes. I met like the drummer once super briefly, but like these are kids that you could tell they love hardcore, you know, like you see, if you watch any video of any like Southern California show, like the members of this band are stage diving, they're up front singing along, they're pitting, you know, if you live anywhere on the West Coast, they probably just showed up randomly at shows and have done the same, you know, and like that spirit of just like loving hardcore and being there, being up front, being involved in everything. Like, I don't know. Those are the types of kids that I want to see like succeed, you know?
Yeah, 100%. This is like, it is so hard to do a hardcore LP without like singing, like no vocal melody, you know, and somehow they do it. This album doesn't fall off. It bangs all the way through. I think like the last couple songs might be the best songs on the record, but I took mostly notes on the first half. The way it kicks in, I love a great hardcore intro. They did it, you know, and they do like tasteful guitar stuff without going like untasteful octavey, you know?
Well, Zach, my huge takeaway of this, you know, to speak to you about this is a band that's playing hard music, fast, dabbling in, I mean, it's straight up hardcore, but there's dabbling in some harder edge stuff, and they don't wank solos or anything. It's fucking, I love it. I love that anytime they do a tiny little bit of guitar stuff, like you just said, it's just a little tasteful, like, seasoning on top.
Yeah, and much like the Drain LP, right? Like, they don't shy away from going for the big moshes, but their guitars aren't drop tuned. They're not super heavy. And it makes it really interesting. It's like a fresher take on hardcore.
I love it. So all the moshes are energetic because they're not sludge.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they do like, okay, so the first like full song right on the record after the intro, they do like a sludge mosh on the end, but it's like, because it's not super heavy and stuff, it gives it like a different vibe. It's like almost like a groove vibe that you're like settling into, like, oh, they're just taking me to another tempo. Like, is it a mosh part or is it like it's just like a nice tempo change? Like, I'm with it. I love it.
Some might say it's got a bit of a YOLO vibe.
Dude, there's a lot of YOLO on this record. So I'm going to get into it, dude. So
I like that you guys called that out. Like, it's very mosh heavy, this whole record. Like, it's all like pit music, but like the vibe of it isn't like destroy the person next to you, inflict pain. It's like, yo, I'm going to jump off the stage. I'm going to bounce around. I'm going to do some, like, it's very like uplifting, upbeat vibe. It reminds me of Down to Nothing in that way, where that's a band that was really kind of designed for the mosh and the live experience, and like, but was more like upbeat and bouncy, but not like, I don't know.
Not hat to the side-ish, more just, yeah. What's epic about it is that there is so much energy in these moshes. There's so much energy in the verse parts, and the vocals sound like they are completely shredded, ripped apart, could fit over like Earth Crisis or something like that, but they sit perfectly over this, which is probably, I would say, maybe like the halfway house between like a, I'm going to reference some older bands just to say, but like halfway between like a Sick of It All and a Earth Crisis with some Chain of Strength fully bringing up the rear,
Yeah, I mean, it could sit on top of like the Firestorm 7-inch, or it could sit on top of like the American Nightmare LP.
Yeah, definitely.
The vocals are like that perfect hardcore monotone. It's great. I do want to just talk about like, so you have the bounce of like the intro, and then they kick to like they kick into this riff and hit it with the Youth Crew toms, which is like, you're just like, okay, like the energy's changing, and then the switch to the hi-hat on like an up-tempo, mid-tempo when the singing comes in is like one of the ultimate hardcore tropes that like almost never fails, and they knock it out of the park, right? The chorus on the first full song is with like the guitar breaks and so forth is really creative and catchy and awesome. And then when they go into the second full song, which is Never Yours, that's when they unleash the YOLO, Dan, and go full scissor. And it's like, you don't know like the scissor beat is coming, and they hit you like out the gate. I absolutely love it. Connects with me. And it's all like, the song stands alone as it is. It's a great song, but it's a setup because in the money slot, the fourth track on the record, Never Yours. I heard this and I was like, okay, Dan is straight back to the Navy. Little Daniel is fucking going up to full salute and knocking his drink off his table.
No, different method.
Okay, yeah. Different method. That's what I mean.
Because the one before it is already preparing the amuse-bouche. It's giving you Edge vibes on the one before it, but then it goes, are you ready for an anthem? Because we're about to give you one. And we've really thought about this song and this message. And so we are ready to put it down for OC. So we will be remembered alongside a Chain or something like that, or UC from this area, because here's our fucking anthem. I absolutely loved it. This song, like, and what did I do? I texted you immediately, like, track 4. Are you ready?
No, and I was waiting for that text. Like, I thought of you as soon as I heard the song. I was like, well, Daniel's going to sport wood. What's up?
Yeah.
It's so good. And another, like, highlight track that comes later on the record is the song Better Off. And it reminds me so much of Rotting Out, which is awesome because I love, like, new bands being influenced by, like, modern bands. It's so ill. And, like, Rotting Out is one of the great hardcore bands of the last like decade, 15 years, 20 years. And it's ill to be able to see like their influence in other current bands while like they're still around and still like in their prime.
Yeah. I mean, I always think of back in the 60s, those bands were covering each other's songs all the time and it being influenced by bands that were a year before them. I think there's something that says like people are switched on to music and appreciation when they do engage in that, when they do, like, I don't have to look to 1987 for like the best riffs. I was stage diving to this band 2 years ago nonstop. That's my influence, Yeah,
I think that's a great way to put it. Like, that's awesome. Chris, anything else on this record before we move on?
No, I think we've all, said it all. It's a great record and it's got a lot of energy. And I think what it's going to do for this band is really catapult like that live energy that they have and bring a lot more of a reciprocal, I just imagine like the dog piles are going to be insane. Like when they start to play again in another month or so. And I can't wait to see it.
If they play the Bay, this old timer might catch the hardcore Holy Ghost. Be up front.
Hell yeah.
I love it. And, this is great. I hope that they're the biggest band in hardcore, and maybe Jordan Cooper should give, Adam Lentz a raise for this signing. So what's up with that? All right, let's go on to the Ingrown LP. This came out again like a week or so ago.
Mm-hmm.
And Chris, you love this band.
Yeah, they're it might have come out actually officially on the same day as the Dare record. Yeah, I love this band. This is the music they play is not my favorite style of hardcore. Like, so I have a little bit of a like poser syndrome mentality when I talk about them because I don't listen to a lot of the stuff that they're inspired by, but like this is a band that just does what they do so well that like it transcends a lot of that and it's undeniable. I think the first thing I want to say, this is a band from Boise, Idaho. I don't know this for sure because I'm not, hanging out in Boston or Florida or whatever, but I kind of get the feeling that they're sort of a lesser known juggernaut of the West Coast. I wonder how many, how big they are like west of Texas, how many people have heard this band, but like, I do feel like they're on the West Coast, at least they're kind of one of those, like, your favorite band's favorite bands. That was kind of a tongue twister, but like, I don't know, like their shows are so much fun. People go crazy when they play. And it's just like, you'll have like, their shows are so diverse from perspective of like diversity of type of music that people losing their minds to this band. So you'll have someone in like a Mindset shirt singing along next to someone in like a Sect shirt spin kicking. And then next to them is like someone in a floor punch shirt, two-stepping, and like all these different like kind of walks of the hardcore scene are just going crazy, just like losing their minds, reckless abandon, flying off the stage. And it's just such a fun vibe. I think one thing I want to call out, so when they dropped their first single and they dropped the video for this, which we should probably talk about the video because it's pretty awesome. But when they dropped this, I remember seeing there was a comment on social that kind of got the meme treatment, where someone asked like in a comment section, what does this band Ingrown sound like? And someone responded to them saying, an ass whooping. And like someone screenshot it and it kind of got the meme treatment, but like it was such an appropriate like commentary about what the band sounds like. Cause they draw a lot of influence from a ton of stuff from
that screenshot should be the back of a shirt.
Yeah. Or like the sticker that goes on the front of the record.
Yeah.
I don't know. They draw like influence from like power violence to like mosh metal. Like there's certainly aspects of a band like Nails, but there's aspects of like a fan of a band like Gulch would absolutely be into this band. So they certainly take their cues from some power violence, but it's not power violence, I don't think. It's just wild. It's just like 100% Igno music. And Charlie, who is the bass player of this band, is like one of the nicest humans you'll ever meet, like sweetest people. And when they play, he just turns into a psychopath and starts like kicking people. And it's so sick. Not like kicking them, but like, like you push someone with your foot.
Officer, I only push them with my foot.
Yeah, But yeah, I don't know. This record is awesome. It sounds amazing. It's totally brutal. If you like violent music, like check this band out because it's violent.
Yeah, I mean, I think the elephant in the room is we just got to say it sounds like Nails, right? Like it sounds the closest to that is someone like you, Chris, that I'm not an aficionado of the genre, so it's like I don't know that many bands that sound like that. I guess Nails, and I like that Rotting Sound band, but other than that, I don't know. So when I listen to this with my limited knowledge, I'm like, oh, it sounds a lot like Nails, right? Brutal music with blast beats, big moshes, and short songs, right? What they don't do, the Nails does, like Nails does those like big epic longer songs also, which I think makes Nails stand out, but also it makes this LP really palatable to me. Like, this record has no songs over a minute 50, and it only has 3 songs that are over 90 seconds. So it flows really well. And also it sounds super good, but it doesn't sound as like brutal, distorted, or as tech as Nails. So maybe it is more palatable to my brain also. Like, I really enjoy listening to this. Also, I think it's a little more aimed, like it's straightforward hardcore, where I think Todd is like writing songs to be the most like tech and brutal dude, right? Because like he's that level of guitarist. Like, I'm going to write some shit that no one can hang with, where this is like a little more in like the straightforward lane. And I like it a lot. This whole thing bangs. I don't know if the video song is the best song on the record, or if it's the one that stands out to me just because I watched the video a bunch of times, you know, but like it is a total hit.
It's a great song.
This album, like, it doesn't fall off at all. It's insane the whole way through, and like keeps my interest, which is wild because it's so brutal and monotone and fast. And again, where Nails might lean a little more into D-beat and death metal, this leans more like straightforward hardcore, I think. And I do.
There's definitely some DB like on steroids on this LP, though.
No, for sure. Dan, what do you think about this one?
I think what I was going to say is, because, you know, I was coming to this hearing this band for the first time, and they just had a big like coming out West Coast party, you know, playing the Mind Force shows down in SoCal, I think, right?
Yep. The Chain.
Yeah, they played the Chain show. And they had, like, I think, Real Tree camo T-shirts as their merch. But what I'd say about this is it has, you know, that D-beat thing ramped up to 1,000,000, but it also has the mosh metal parts ramped up to 1,000,000, you know? There's no break. My favorite song on the LP is the title track, Gun. It has just the most evil sounding stomp for the first half of the song before it takes off at, you know, 9,000 miles an hour. That like stomp part on that song is just, bad things are gonna happen in the room that song is being played. I know that for a fact. I know that I will be backs to the wall when that song is playing if I'm in the room, you know? It's like, oh God, people are gonna die. But it really impressed me for the simple fact, what Zach kind of touched on, that you don't get bored, even though it is a lot of, like, you know, if you're not really like a massive aficionado of this kind of music, if you don't know every intricacy and every like musical reference that potentially is, you know, what has crafted this, if you just think of it as being brutal music, it doesn't let up and you don't get bored. Like, it's good stuff. It's not my absolute favorite stuff, but I enjoyed the listen to it like probably 5 or 6 times so far, like since, you know, I was turned on to it. And I keep going back to the song Gun, because that stomp is just, it's more murder than Murdario.
I think that's what makes this record and this band so good, though, is it's music that's like turned up to 11 the whole way through, right? Like, we're going to play as fast as we can and then as hard as we can.
Yeah, and but the vocals are going to be as brutal as they can too, you know?
Right. But for some reason, it doesn't sound samey, like, the whole way through. Like, track 3 does sound different from track 7.
Oh, so
definitely. It keeps your interest.
But I'm saying that they are ramped up with whatever they approach, not saying that they're ramped up and sound the same on every single song, that it's just 90 miles an hour. It's not.
No, I didn't take that that's what you're saying. I'm saying that that's what makes them unique, and I'm not necessarily sure why.
Yeah.
Right? There's like an intricacy when it comes to writing great songs that makes, like when you listen to a Youth of the Day LP, right? It's like, okay, if I broke down these songs, like a lot of them have the same formula. Okay, so why can they do that and put out a bunch of songs that are the same formula on paper, but make them all great and stand out? It's because they're a great band. And this is kind of the same thing. Like a band that wasn't playing on this level and didn't have this level of like creativity in their songwriting, I would never want to listen to 10 songs of it in a row. Like it would be terrible. Right. But these guys like pull it off and it's great.
Yeah,
definitely.
Sure.
Chris, anything else you got on this one?
I think one more thing I just want to add, like I mentioned live that they're a powerhouse, but like I think it's worth mentioning this is a 3-piece. So the guitar player sings as well. I think on one of the podcasts a couple months ago, I talked a little bit about how Code Orange has to be like the most impressive, hardcore band live that has a singer that isn't just the vocalist. But I think Ingrown has to be like next to, just next tier below. Like they're super impressive live. Like they're a band that you can watch and not get bored by, which is easy to do when you don't have a stand-up singer. And so like just shout to them for like that's impressive, I think.
Yeah, the 3-piece part doesn't help dissuade the Nails influence either.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, this record rules, and the Dare LP rules as well. So everyone, get them both, or just listen to them on repeat on the streaming. You know what to do. Okay.
The fight lasts for hours, each ram battering the other dozens of times.
Head to head.
All right, what's up? We are going head to head. The Chain of Strength 7 inches. So, True Till Death came out 1989, Revelation Records. It's going up against the What Holds Us Apart 7 inch. Came out 1990 on Foundation Records. Head to head, Dan, which one are you going to take?
Well, before I reveal the choice of a generation, I've got to say, Chain of Strength is perfect hardcore music. Like, to try and pick between these two things is very rough. And it's perfection. Like, there was a long time where the Chain 7 inches were the only things that were out, obviously, before Rev did the repress, which means that they were much harder for lots of people to listen to, especially, if you didn't have the record player set up or anything like that. And so in the very early 90s, while I was like first discovering this kind of stuff, it was, it seemed like they had been around ages ago, but literally they probably just had stopped being a band. But the music wasn't, I had a tape with it and it was just the worst recording of it, but I still loved it. And then, I eventually got both 7 inches and have loved them ever since. And, you sometimes take it for granted how fucking good this band is. And, I mean, one of the most perfect hardcore vocals ever. The most amazing drumming. Great rhythm section, to be honest, like bass and drums. But Chris Bratton's drumming is, I mean, I re-listened to both today and just listened, I was supposed to listen to a bunch of other stuff like to get ready for this. And I just listened to Chain like 6 times in a row because it's amazing. And I love it. Now, down to the 2 7-inches. I would have to say, I'm gonna have to. Well, there's a simple way to put it, and then there's a cosine that adds on to my choice. True Till Death, you get 6 songs. The other 7-inch, you get 4. So that's a winner there. And then on top of it, I have True Till Death tattooed just under my neck. It is, it is one of the ultimate straight edge anthems and / terminology in regards to being edge. And then it also has my very favorite tiny part of any Chain song, which is the instrumental bass break on Never Understand, where the bass takes off, and that is just, if I could only listen to 12 bars of hardcore for the rest of my life, that is definitely in the top 3 discussion. It's so upbeat, it's so fast, it's so creative, it's so melodic, it's so hard, it's fucking perfect. True Till Death, Revelation Records star on the back, also adds one tiny little other element. I love the pictures. I love the green of the vinyl. I love everything about it. True Till Death wins for me.
Yeah, this one's wild, dude. Because like listening to this, I've listened to it. I've listened to this every month. These records. Well, on the re-release, right? The LP that came out with both 7-inches. I think I've listened to it every month for the entire time I've been into hardcore. This is straight up perfect hardcore. It's so energetic and so powerful at the same time. It is out of this world. Now, listening to these 2 7-inches versus each other is something that I've never thought about or done, which is why when I was putting this pod together, I was like, ooh, this is actually like pretty interesting. Because it's 2 banger records. I'm going to say what I think is better about each of them. What holds us apart, the second 7-inch, the songwriting is out of this world, right? Like I think True Till Death, they're a little more raw, and that can break either way you want it to break. Do you think that hardcore is better when it's raw or when it's like more powerful and thought out? So like a song like Too Deep Until Now is so beautifully crafted with its power, and then like the slight little parts of like melody without ever being accused of being melodic, right? Like if you think about like the do 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 do, that one part has probably influenced a million terrible songs, but
and 100 good ones.
That's true. That's true. But that part is so perfect, and they didn't need it. It's a hardcore song. It would have been a great song without it. But the fact that the fact that they add in like little stuff like that is like they're truly thinking about these songs. These 4 songs on the second record are straight up perfect. Like this is as well crafted and as good as hardcore can be, I think, for like straightforward fast hardcore. But good God, man, the True Till Death 7-inch. I can't live in a world without the song True Till Death. Like straight up can't. It's one of my go-tos that sometimes I just want to listen to it because they settle in. Oh, I wanted to say on the second 7-inch, I think the drumming is actually even better.
Yeah.
It's great on True Till Death, but it's like, good God, did he get even better? Like, what the fuck? Like, it's out of this world. But True Till Death, the song, sometimes I just want to like put it on and listen to it by itself because they found the perfect up-tempo, mid-tempo, right? Where it's like, oh my God, it's just like fist pumping perfect tempo. And if it was like slightly faster or slightly slower, it wouldn't be good. It's why when people cover the song, it always sounds terrible, right? Like you're still singing along because someone's playing True Till Death, but it's like they can't find that tempo, like that magic tempo.
Well, also Zach, on that, even if it had been pretty much any other singer in the world singing it, there's something about the way he carries the syllables with it. Every single bit of a syllable is just dripping with I don't know, it's a little bit shredded, but it's a little bit melodic, but it's also just full of passion and urgency. His vocals, more than almost anyone I've ever heard, sound urgent.
Yeah, and it's straight from the gut.
Yeah.
Like he's singing from like the bottom of his gut.
Yeah.
It's wild. And also, maybe the greatest straight edge song ever written. And What's Up, Dude? Written by my hardcore spirit animal Frosty, who drank beer. So it makes it even better because I can relate to it, dude.
Only when he's thirsty, isn't that what you always say?
No, I found the interview and it said he actually did drink beer. It was Curtis that only drank beer sometimes when he was thirsty. So
well, let me just say that is a letdown.
Yeah.
You know what though? Like getting back to kind of just the sound of it, like Best of Times, that is a song about friendship that, you know, if it was done by 7 Seconds or someone else, it would be so happy sounding, so positive and everything. This is like a melancholic, like you and me at the end of the world, like having the best of times. There's something about it. It's just so amazing.
Yeah, and also covered by Death Threat, and they killed it too.
Yep.
They did a great job. But my second favorite Chance 3 song is also on here, That There's a Difference. Oh my God, that sing-along part is like, it's a mosh part tempo change, but it's like the biggest sing-along ever. And like, the lyrics are very simple, but when you write that brilliant shit, you get away with like the simplicity. It's so good. It's the best. So I got to go True Till Death as well. Man, Chris, you going to break this or is it unanimous?
So before I went back and listened to these or even look at the track listing, I came into this with the realization, with the expectation that I was going to pick one of these based on one song, basically. I'm going to get to that in a second, but like the thing that's interesting is, okay, I come in with that mentality, and then first thing I do is I look at the track listings for both of the 7 inches, and I see just how much. True Till Death, There Is a Difference, Never Understand, Let Down, Best of Times. Then the other record, Too Deep Until Now, The Space Between, Hurts to Ask, Through These Eyes. Like, that track listing is insane. It reminds me of when we did this for Age of Quarrel, and it's just like, what? Like, every single one of these songs are bangers. Like, how am I supposed to pick a side, right? Another thing I want to touch on, Zach touched on like those little technical flourishes and melodies and little things that they do that kind of step up the musicianship. They're not necessarily needed, but they take it to the next level. I think a super important thing to that too is they don't overdo it. Like they do it just enough to take it to the next level, but like, you know, they, instead of doing that a bunch and making it really busy, they still give the vocals room to breathe. They still give the drums room to breathe. And like, that's what makes these songs, like hardcore classics.
I think that's like one of the best ways to describe the greatness of this band, Chris, is that like everything does have its room to breathe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
because think about too deep until now. And then like there's nothing like that. You know, there's people that try and do it afterwards, but they can't capture that. And it's such a, you know, arguably like probably a not really thought of moment. But when you sink in and you get your teeth into what makes this so different and so, you know, upper echelon hardcore, is the musicianship without, you know, showing off. It's just,
they're not bashing you over the head with it.
No, it's a band firing on every cylinder ever with passion and, you know, putting it down for the West Coast in a scene dominated by the East Coast to an extent, you know, like there's something to prove. Look, think about the vocals on Hurts to Ask. They're so, you know, we say YOLO, we say all this shit all the time, but they're so different than anything else, like, it's in my eyes, it's almost like a ramble, but then with the most punctuated, like, passionate scream at the end of it. It's so good.
Well, yeah, and they're doing a crescendo on like a fast ring out part.
Yeah.
Like, how wild is that? That it's like crescendoing up on like a blazing fast ring out. Like, what the hell? Also, just the second 7-inch, it has like, I think the best hardcore drumming ever, like that and the Burn 7-inch. Like, they're neck and neck. For a record, you can almost just like listen to it and tune everything else out and just listen to the drums and be like, oh my God, this is like mind blowing. And they're both examples of why I think this music is the best in the world, right? It's not songs that's great for a hardcore song. It's like, no, this is great music that can stand up to any music in the history of Earth. But Chris, that was a nice segue away from you. Let's take it back to you.
Yeah, I think so. So backing up, the one song here is, so Champion used to cover Too Deep Until Now. It was one of maybe the song that we covered most of any. We did millions of covers, but that was the one that stuck in the set list. Because it was so much fun to play. It was so much energy live. There was, they did the chain magical thing where there were lots of ring outs. And so you have room to hit the note and then just go crazy live. And so I loved playing that. And, fast forward, I don't know, 10 years or so, Chain of Strength played Rainfest. And, I went into their set kind of thinking like, all right, the reunion band's playing, like, cool. I love Chain of Strength. I'll watch them. It'll be good. But the way that I think about reunion bands, like hardcore to me is always about a time and a place. And so like, if it's not that time and not that place, like even if it's the same people playing those songs, it's not quite the same, I don't know. So I kind of went into that mentality thinking like, okay, cool. I just saw the bands that are like killing it today. I believe like Mindset played and Angel Dust, and I did, Stage Dove went crazy for all those bands. And, then it was time for Chain of Strength to play, and undeniably they were great live. Like they were surprisingly good, like surprisingly tight. I enjoyed watching their set, but when they played Too Deep Until Now, it was like a tractor beam, like zeroed in on me and grabbed me and just like threw me into like, the whole hardcore Holy Ghost that Dan likes to talk about. Like it was full effect on that song. And so like that song has a special place in my heart for all these reasons. And, in addition to the things that you guys both talked about the musicianship and just kind of stepping it up a level. So I'm going to take What Holds Us Apart. But like we said, this is 10 songs. These are 10 hardcore classics, like, flip a coin basically, but I'm taking What Holds Us Apart.
I love it. Yeah. It's so hard to choose on some of this stuff. And so the most simple way for me to break it down is like, can I live in a world without this? And so sometimes it does come down to that single song, like you were talking about, Chris.
And hardcore too, like to that point, hardcore is such a personal thing. And we experience these songs in personal ways. And so that you can't oversell the importance of that personal connection. And so, yeah, that's really what it comes down. I mean, all these songs have a personal connection for me, but for Too Deep Until Now, it's just like next level.
Yeah, I mean, and if I was going to lay out to someone like what is the blueprint of like a perfect hardcore song, like, I've talked about like the Burn 7-inch being like the apex of what I think hardcore is when it's still like steeped in like the roots of what it started as. Like Too Deep Until Now is right there as like, this is like as far as you can take it before it like starts, falling off into something, another like lane of creativity. Like this is perfect hardcore evolution. So ill,
Yeah, and then let's not forget how sick the "Through These Eyes" backup is.
Oh, I know. Yeah, like That is a thing I love. That's a small hardcore thing that I love is the fast yelled backup.
Yeah,
Which is
by someone else in the band, So
right. Totally underutilized and should come back. Although I don't always like when bands do like that call and answer. Like the fast call and answer like that. Da-da-da, ba-da-da, da-da-da, ba-da-da. But the Through These Eyes is perfect.
Yeah, because it's like a bit of a musical break. Let's hurry up and wrap up so I can go listen to Chain.
Dan, anything else before we get out of here on this one?
I just urge everyone to listen to this without any malice or any, they're fucking sellouts or whatever. Just listen with a fresh, open mind of just listening to Chain of Strength and just hear it for the absolute beauty that it is.
And just remember, people that drink beer write the best straight edge songs. So what's up?
I would like a fact checker.
Where you at, Bedge?
Side A versus Side B.
All right, we are doing Side A versus Side B on a great 7-inch that Chris brought to my attention. It is the band Chain Whip. The 7-inch is titled Two Step to Hell. And this thing is a rager. Chris, thanks for bringing it to my attention. I have shared it with several people since. How do you feel about it? And then Side A or Side B, which is better, dude?
Yeah, I love it. I'm not sure if it's a 7-inch or a 12-inch EP, just because I haven't been able to get my hands on it yet. I thought it was a 12-inch, but maybe I'm making that up. Either way, it's an EP. It's badass. There's 3 songs on each side. Bit of context. This is a Vancouver, BC band. 3 of the songs, I believe, are demo, like re-records from the demo. And then there's one Subhumans cover, but the Vancouver, BC Subhumans. So kind of a cool local homage. Change's second to last show that we played before COVID hit was with them, actually. And they were sick. And, the last thing that they put out was really cool and I dug it, but I feel like the recording on this is just like next level. Like it just sounds so much more like aggressive and raw in your face. I think, if I was to describe to someone what this sounds like imagine if you took Dead Kennedys and you stripped it of all of like the weirdness and kind of silliness and sassiness and just like leaned into the aggressiveness. Even the vocals, like the attack kind of sounds like some of the more raw and aggressive, Dead Kennedys songs, like the Jello vocals. So like, it just kind of sounds like someone got Jello in a room and just has been poking him with a sharp stick. So he's just angry and pissed and poked out all the silliness and sassiness out of him and kept all the, Nazi punks fuck off, in him, but like on steroids. Yeah, this record's a rager. Start to finish, like every song is strong, and the Subhumans cover is super cool too. I'm going to take side A, just because probably like those first few songs just hit me harder, probably just because I've heard them more. And as I listen to this more, maybe the back half, will become more familiar and maybe, my opinion might change on this, but I love Laguna Bleach, which is the opening track. Like, I think this is a demo track, but it sounds so sick. And the vocals are just so pissed and in your face. Like he has like a violent vocal style where he's just like spitting out the lyrics. And I don't know, it just works so well for this style of hardcore. Cause if you had a different singer, like I could see this easily, you could get like more of a negative approach, kind of like Skinhead style singer, and it would sound maybe like a lot of the stuff that's coming out of the UK right now, or maybe a little bit more rock and rolly singer, and maybe it sounds a little bit more like Chubby and the Gang. But like I feel like the vocal attack on this really is what makes it like just fast and piss off and aggressive. I love it. I'm going to take side A.
Yeah, and we should probably just say first half because who knows? You're right, Chris. It's a 12-inch, and I can't get the side breakdown anywhere. But because dude, to do a 12-inch and break this onto sides is crazy.
I actually have the breakdown. Hold on, let me pull it up because I texted. Their drummer Patrick. I texted him because I looked on Discogs and it didn't have a side breakdown, so he sent me the breakdown. He sent me like a screenshot or a picture of it.
Well, you said 3 and 3.
Yep, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. It looks like.
Yeah, that's wild, dude. Put it on one side because this thing kicks ass, and I don't want to flip it. The fuck that Laguna Bleach song, the first song, is like literally a perfect punk riff. You know, with like that up tempo, mid tempo. You know, it's like right in the zone. And the chorus, it sounds a lot like Last Rites. That's what this band reminds me the most of. This song, then also the first song on side B, which is Blank Image. They both sound a lot like Last Rites Worship, which you can do no wrong. That is ill as hell. So this first song just rages. The second and third songs, I swear this is like the fastest you can play while still being what I would consider mid tempo. It reminds me a lot of like that band from Cleveland called The Guns. Like they had those 2 songs on a compilation, and one of them was like an up tempo, mid tempo. It reminds me of that. Like, okay, this is like literally as fast as you can downstroke or play double time on a hi hat. So wild. And also, one of the things that I like about this so much is it reminds me of like when I fell in love with Life's Halt. I fell in love with them because like I'd listen to them and then I would listen to like the other like kind of fastcore bands. I'm like, why do I like this and not this as much? You know, and when I broke down like the Life's Halt, it was like, dude, their like riffs are kind of just, it's like they could be Ensign, you know, it's just, it's played on 45 instead of 33, you know? And so like they're using like these more basic riffs that I really like. It's just super sped up, you know, they're not like being fast to be fast. And this is kind of the same way. It's like almost like you're listening to a mid-tempo punk record, but it's like they clipped it up to like maybe not all the way to 45, but it's like, oh shit, they're on 39. What the fuck? Like, it's wild. And I love it. Again, it's just so palatable. The 6 songs, they all bang. There's no fall off. Side B, that song Blank Image, again, like total Last Rightsy, but there's like a super tasteful lead at the end. Like just a little bit, and it rules. If anything, I want to see a little bit more of this, just because I think it's something they could tap into and, you know, do a longer record with like exploring that. Up in Smoke again, just like the way this is the one where when they're doing the double time, like the hi-hat, it cuts through in such a gnarly way that you're like, dude, this drummer is not playing. Like, this is a wild man. You know, and Subhumans cover, I can take it or leave it. Like, it's cool to give some shine to a band like from their area, you know, but they've been re-released on Alternative Tentacles. Like, the people that know. Subhumans, one of my favorite bands, those first few 7 inches. And well, I actually like both LPs a lot too. They do a good job with this song. It's just kind of unnecessary. I don't need to listen to it. So I don't know. I think that the song Blank Image is my favorite. So I'm going side B anyway. What's up? Dan, what's your take?
Well, this is a band that is hardcore punk, you know. The punk is firmly in the output. It sounds like a 77 band revved up to the max with a ton of aggression, a ton of spirit, you know, no posing.
Do you think this is 1.5?
1.5 point
maybe like 1.01.
It's like 1.8. Yeah,
1.8.
Yeah.
The Last Rites is a really nice nod also, but I feel there's just as much like 77 London revved up to the max also, yeah, like you say, from 33 to 45, like just really, really like sped up, but it still has that kind of like an element of what could be described as street punk riffs, but not played at street punk speed, but yeah, my favorite song is Blank Image. I really love the Subhumans cover too, because I think this is a band that can take that song and make it sound like them, but also honor how great that song is. Two Step to Hell is really good as well. I like Fresh Paint and Philanthropy as well, and Up in Smoke. Shout out Cheech, shout out Chong. I'm going side B. Blank Image wins it for me. I think that's the best song on the record, although all 6 songs are very good, and I'm, psyched that we're discussing this because it is great, and the artwork is really cool.
Yeah, it is.
It's very simple, but very, very cool.
They actually did. They just did so for the previous record, they made some limited covers for them that you have to go to their Instagram to check it out because they're really cool. Like they made covers out of grip tape, and then they used stencils to spray paint that chain snake logo thing on top of the grip tape. But they used 3 different stencils, so there's 2 colors of spray paint. A lot went into them, and they turned out really cool.
So now Zach has to go and find all 3 grip tape different spray paints to add to his 7-inch collection. He swore off 7 inches.
It's LP, dude.
It's an LP,
okay.
And it's one cover with 3 different screens used.
Yeah. The Olympics.
Dude, I'm embracing this band and their love of the LP format.
This is another band too that just played their first show out of COVID the other day.
Was anyone whipped with a chain?
No, but there was. I don't really know the story, but there was some weird scenario where someone tried to fight the singer for a second, and he got like pulled out of the club. To everyone chanting, "You suck."
I love it.
Sorry, it wasn't a club. It was like a park.
You suck. You suck.
This band rips so hard. I just with everything now, I just hope that bands don't break up.
It's a sick name too.
Everything about it is sick. That logo's sick. All 6 songs are perfect. Like it's great. I'm rooting for them. I hope they stick together for a long time because I want to hear 10+ songs that sound like this. Like so ill, dude. And I knew nothing about them before this, so sorry to come off like a total ignoramus, but I'm gonna check them out. I'm all in on the Chain Whip party. So that's what's up. Dan, you got anything else on this before we get out of here?
Just suck it, Chris. Side B wins.
These nuts.
That's right. Chris, you got anything to end on?
No.
It's hard to follow up on it's hard to follow up on a D's nuts. That's like the final thing,
No, that's the mic drop. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, anyway, let's just have an awkward conversation for 5 minutes. Anyway, all right, everyone. Thanks for listening. This stuff is all great. Get that Dare LP. Get that Ingrown LP. Check out Chain Whip. And I know you already love Chain of Strength, but revisit it and bask in the greatness.
Yeah, and you know what, listener? Love hardcore.
Yeah, hardcore rules.